All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. So the Pittsburgh Steelers over the weekend made a couple of moves. They signed wide receiver Quez Watkins from the Philadelphia Eagles. They also picked up my former defensive end Dean Lowry from the Minnesota Vikings. Now, this is interesting, right? Because the only wide receivers in the Steelers room right now are George Pickens, Calvin Austin III, Van Jefferson, and Quez Watkins. And I'm seeing a lot of ridicule that I'm not a huge fan of. You want your wide receiver room, just like every positional group, to be highly competitive. Quez Watkins originally entered the league as a six-round pick in 2020. He was selected by the Philadelphia Eagles. He went to Southern Miss. He spent the majority of his rookie season on the bench. He only appeared in just 6 games. He finished that season with just 7 catches for 106 yards and a touchdown. Now, even though he had a slow start to his rookie season, he broke out in 2021. All right, he earned the starting job opposite of Devontae Smith. The second-year pro finished the first year of the Jalen Hurts era with 43 catches, 647 yards, and 1 touchdown. He's crazy fast. All right, he is unbelievably fast. Now, as a main slot receiver, especially with already having Calvin Austin III on it, I wouldn't be surprised if he was just more of a specialist, if he was more of a return guy. Arthur Smith's not a huge implementer of slot wide receivers in his offensive scheme, but the point still stands. Now I have 2 of the most fastest, quickest speedster wide receivers on my roster is better than nothing. Now, if you ask me, and by the way, Omar Khan said this on his thoughts about the receiving group. He said coaches will, quote unquote, adjust to things based on who the receiver is, but it's safe to say we're going to continue to add to that room. So they're not done. You know, we've talked about Odell. We've talked about Tyler Boyd. We're going to continue. Also have a draft sleeper that we're going to talk about in today's video. But guys, before we do, if you enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. We post a ton of Steelers videos on this channel. I still got to grab that Justin Fields Steelers jersey. It's going to be so sweet. Steelers fans, love you guys as always. If you try and get this video to 250 likes, that would mean the absolute world to me. Now, one thing I want people to be very aware of with the Pittsburgh Steelers is this. They're not done in the wide receiver room. I'm very surprised, actually, that Tyler Boyd is not a Pittsburgh Steeler at the time of this recording. It wouldn't shock me if he was by the end of the week. In fact, I do think either Tyler Boyd or Odell Beckham Jr. will be a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver room by the end of this week. I know they need to fill in a center. I know they have some holes to fill, but guess what? The draft is still a month away. And even if they stand pat with this wide receiver room as it stands right now, I get it, it's not crazy, but you do have a lot of intrigue there. We know what Calvin Austin is. Unfortunately, his rookie season was kind of hindered by Matt Canada, Kenny Pickett, a lot of moving parts on the offensive side of things. And he didn't really get many opportunities. He had like 17 catches, only 30 total targets. But especially with his speed, nobody's giving up on Calvin Austin after an underwhelming rookie season. Van Jefferson is really interesting to me because he had a really good sophomore campaign where he had like 800 receiving yards. The last 2 years with the Rams, though, our last 2 years, not really involved in the offense. So it needs to be bolstered, right? We have to keep in mind Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, George Pickens, obviously. There's still a lot of weapons offensively, but they have a clear wide receiver 2 to hole. Wide receiver 2 hole to fill. There we go. In the draft, you have a round 1 pick 20 selection. All right. Round 2 pick 51. Round 3, you have 2 draft picks, 84 and 98. So the Pittsburgh Steelers have 4 draft picks in the first 100 picks. That's good. All right. You have 2 third-round selections. It wouldn't shock me if they compile those 2, or they compile, like a 3rd and a 6th, because you also have 2 6th-rounders. You also have a 4th-round pick. My point is this. Even if you don't add Tyler Boyd, even if you don't add another wide receiver, this is reportedly a crazy wide receiver room, all right? So they're going to make some moves. Now, one player that really has my eye because of the Michigan connection is Roman Wilson. In pretty much every mock draft that I have read to this point, Roman Wilson is going in the 3rd round. And yes, obviously the Pittsburgh Steelers have 2 third-round selections. Roman last season, 15 games played. He had a great year, 48 catches, 789 receiving yards, averaging over 16 yards per catch and 12 touchdowns. So I get it that there's still not a solidified wide receiver two on this roster, and it's a little bit of an underwhelming wide receiver room. But folks, there's plenty of free agency left. There's plenty of the offseason left, and we still are a month away from the NFL draft, where the Pittsburgh Steelers have 4 picks inside the top 100. So I get it. I get it. I get it. But as Omar Khan said, they're not done. They're going to continue to add to that room. Even if Quez Watkins is a total bust, the end of his Philadelphia career last year was highlighted by a fumble. He does make some mistakes, but he is sneaky fast, and it's just a low risk, high reward signing, in my opinion. So it's not a needle mover, but it has the potential to be a big or at least a minimal impact, which, you know, when looking at this wide receiver room, I'd take that. So I saw a great tweet by this guy named Michael Beck. Justin Simmons still out there. Wouldn't shock me in the slightest if the Pittsburgh Steelers do decide to make a move for him. I think you're going to see one more bigger time splash from Pittsburgh before free agency is officially over. All right, now moving on. Dean Lowry, just a great depth player. You know, you're continuing to add and bolster your defense. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense ranked 6th in the NFL in opponents' points per game last season. TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Landon Roberts, and now I have a star linebacker in the middle of the field in Patrick Queen. Folks, the Patrick Queen acquisition was really big at the time. People were losing their minds that he decided to go divisional rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I'm still not really seeing a lot of people fully understand, outside of Steelers fans, the impact that move is going to have. Folks, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is unbelievable. And now I finally have my quarterbacks, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. What I do like about Omar Khan and what he's doing in free agency thus far is he's not afraid to make moves. You're getting Patrick Queen. You're getting Russell Wilson. You're trading for Justin Fields. You're making some sneaky signings like Dean Lowry and Quez Watkins. You also traded for Dante Jackson at the cornerback spot. I really like that. Pair him up with Joey Porter Jr. coming off a great rookie season. I still got Minka in my secondary. Like, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, some way, somehow, is much better than they were last year, and they were already a really good defense. I think they're now going to be completely a great defense. The most important thing was finding a quarterback, right? And you got your quarterback. Deontay Johnson, last season, very underwhelming. The whole Pittsburgh Steelers offense, just 28th in the league, the 5th worst passing offense. It was underachieving. It was underwhelming just in general. So I know they need a wide receiver too, but trust me, don't freak out. Just relax, because if you wake up or you check Twitter or you check YouTube to check a Will Upton Fresh Steelers video and you see Tyler Boyd or Odell Beckham Jr. is now a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers, all of this will be for nothing. So sit back, relax, and let the con artist himself do his thing. So, guys, let me know your thoughts on Quez Watkins. Let me know your thoughts on Dean Lowry, and let me know, what wide receiver are you going for? Are you going for Odell? Are you going for Tyler Boyd? Are you going to address this in the draft? Let me know your thoughts on the current state of the Steelers wide receiver room. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you soon.